5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Today's highs were in the upper 70s. Tomorrow we reach 80. Our warming trend continues through the weekend. We'll talk about your weekend forecast coming up next.
$1 billion development years in the making. The hope it will bring new life to the Old North. Our top story, racist graffiti found in a school restroom.
It's disheartening and it makes you worry about your children.
Tonight, the school's response as outrage grows on social media. That graffiti called for violence, including racial slurs. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. School leaders now say they are looking for the person responsible. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon, who spoke with parents, and even the NAACP, who says it is not surprised by this, Brent.
Kelly, Mike, that's because the group says it's seen this before. While the Francis Howell High principal sent out a letter to parents, you're about to see that shortly. The group says more needs to be done to send a clear message. This won't be tolerated. Graphic images so disturbing, we've had to blur out the offensive racial and sexual language that called for murder. The graffiti boldly marked on top of the bathroom stalls in multiple places.
He kind of feels like he's surrounded by that at school anyway, so that's unfortunate too that he has to deal with this all the time.
Megan Martin Mahaney's 11th grade son capturing these images when he went into the restroom at Francis Howell High and immediately reported it to the front office. School leaders say they quickly removed it. The Francis Howell School District will not tolerate racism, hate speech, or acts of violence. This behavior is deplorable and does not reflect our Viking values, the principal said in a letter to parents.
Unfortunately for Francis Howell, they have made themselves a target for this with the way that they have decided to show up over the last 4 to 5 years.
Sabrina Looney with the St. Charles County NAACP points to a noose found hanging in the bathroom behind the school's football field just last year. The same year, the school board reversed a ban on educational materials that include hate speech. Recently, the board voted to ban Black Studies courses, prompting protests and walkouts. Leaders said those courses weren't politically neutral. They later reinstated them with modifications.
This is why there's no surprise why in St. Charles County our minority students are ranked so low. That's not their inability to do it. It's a lot of times it's the culture and environment in which they have to do this in.
And within just the past couple of hours, the school board's president condemned racism, saying it is an obstacle to the culture they're trying to build. The school's principal says counselors are on hand to support students. He also says whoever did this will be disciplined at school and possibly through the legal system.
Now let's turn to the weather impact forecast. If you are sneezing and coughing, there is a very good reason.
Yeah, we got some much needed rain this week, but that has led to an extremely high mold count. Meteorologist Lance Blocker is tracking drier and warmer days ahead.
Yeah, the good news is that we're going to be dry, so that means the mold count will come down. But let's go and show you that number real quickly here. It's 139,000 particulates. So that means nothing to really most all of us. But what it does mean, what I will say is that we categorize this as high when it reaches about 20 or 30,000. So 139,000, that's the highest value that we've seen all year. So keep that in mind as you see the temperatures here in the 50s and 60s. If you're thinking about opening your window overnight tonight in order to take advantage of some of the cool air in place, you may want to hold off on that just because of that mold count, especially if you suffer from allergies across the region. Dew points there in the 50s. That means comfortable air for us over not only tonight, tomorrow, and the days ahead looking into the weekend too. And again, we'll be in the mid to upper 50s to start out the day. Sunny icons throughout the day tomorrow as well. Noon, your lunchtime hour, 75 degrees. Grab lunch outside. We got some more great days ahead as well, but we will go through a warming trend. We'll detail that out and how long it'll last. Your forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
See you then, Lance. Tonight, St. Peter's police say a man who was struck by a car has died. It happened this morning along a busy stretch of Mexico Road. New at 10, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend talked to people who hope the tragic accident reminds drivers to always keep safety in mind.
If you live out here in this St. Peter's area near Mexico and Spencer Road, then you know this is a very busy intersection. Sadly, police tell us this is where a pedestrian was walking Thursday morning when he was struck by a car. He later died at a hospital. Investigators say the man was crossing Mexico Road just after 6 Thursday morning when a driver struck him. Late Thursday, police identified the victim as 35-year-old Gregory Wagoner of Wright City. The driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating with police.
People need to pay attention because they're driving a 2,000-pound car and they got to make sure that you don't want to hit a pedestrian. David
Legg routinely walks along Mexico Road. He hopes the tragic accident serves as a reminder to motorists to always drive safely, stay alert, and keep an eye out for pedestrians.
I'd say 75% of the time I take that crosswalk, the driver does not see me and I have to wave at them and get them to stop.
It's really heartbreaking that somebody can walk across the street and lose their life.
As for the investigation, police tell us right now they are still looking into it, and at this point, no charges have been filed. Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Tonight, St. Louis police are looking for the suspect in a shooting in North City. As officers responded to that scene, 2 police cars collided. Officers found a man shot in the head inside a car last night on Fair Avenue near Rosalie Street. He was taken to the hospital with critical injuries. One officer suffered a minor injury to his knee in the collision.
New at 10, the city of Brentwood is celebrating a legal victory tonight over blighted properties. Businesses in the Manchester corridor have been fighting the city in court over a 2023 study designated the area as blighted. City officials say a judge has ruled in Brentwood's favor. In a statement, the city says, quote, "From the beginning, our focus has been and will continue to be the betterment of the Brentwood community and the St. Louis region as a whole. The redevelopment of Manchester Road is a critical part of that effort."
History tonight in Washington. For the first time, a grand jury has handed down an indictment on a former director of the FBI. The indictment against James Comey was released just hours ago. It includes 2 felony counts, making a false statement and obstruction involving his testimony to Congress in 2020. This comes just days after President Donald Trump said publicly that Attorney General Pam Bondi should prosecute Comey. Earlier today, the president says he was not involved in the decision.
I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the FBI. But I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Comey has not publicly reacted to the indictment. He has always denied any wrongdoing. The statute of limitations for the charges were set to expire on Tuesday. Tonight, Amazon is set to deliver a $2.5 billion settlement with the Federal Trade Commission over allegations the online retailer duped users into paying for Prime memberships. More than half of that money will be shared with 35 million impacted customers. Many who signed up between June 2019 and June 2025 will receive $51 payments. Despite the hefty payment, Amazon admits no wrongdoing.
Happening just hours from now, a historic opening hoping to bring new life to North City. The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency will officially open. It's at the intersection of North Jefferson and Cass Avenues. NGA hopes to reverse decades of disinvestment by rebuilding the area around it. 5 on your side spoke to 2 businesses in the area who are excited about what's to come.
This is a shining little star up here in North St. Louis.
This is the perfect time for us to be in this neighborhood.
We will be at the opening ceremony tomorrow morning, getting you a first look at the site. Tonight calls for transparency and accountability after the city abandoned the Metrolink Green Line project. It was to provide connections from the NGA campus to Chippewa in South City. Bi-State is now looking into bus rapid transit system. The NAACP of St. Louis says Bi-State needs the public's consent to reallocate funding for the original project generated from a 2017 sales tax. Bi-State is set to meet tomorrow to discuss the plan.
Hours ago, in-person FEMA help ended for those impacted by the May tornado in St. Louis. FEMA says they've given more than $47 million to St. Louis families, and about 9,000 homes were approved for assistance, but there is still a need for help out there. FEMA says there are online options for those still needing it.
You can speak with us directly, ask for additional assistance if you need it, such as help with rent, such as help with home repairs. We may be able to provide additional money to help you do those things. And we work with everybody on a case-by-case basis because not everyone's exact situation is the same.
You can find those online options at disasterassistance.gov, or you can call 800-621-3362, or you can even use the FEMA app. Tonight, a former Herman police officer who was shot in the head 2 years ago while on duty is getting a new home.
Friends, family, and first responders welcomed Adam Sulentrump and his wife to a home with some heartfelt messages. Everyone wrote notes of encouragement on the walls. The home came together thanks to the Gary Sinise Foundation, an organization that helps injured first responders. The home was built with Sulentrump's needs in mind, featuring no stairs and a huge bathroom. The family says even though those messages of encouragement will be covered up, they plan to keep those with them.
The project manager had told us that they're going to take pictures of all of the messages so we can always look back at them and read them whenever we want.
Their new home is expected to be completed next spring.
It's a distressing diagnosis.
There is not a screening test for ovarian cancer.
Tonight, the new push in the Show Me State to raise awareness. An inspirational movie filmed in St. Louis.
His name is John O'Leary. He's a tough little guy.
Inspiring a movement. How giving the gift of life could earn you the gift of free movie tickets.
The weather across our region is nice and quiet, but the Atlantic is not. Coming up next, we're going to talk about how this next system could impact our weather over the days ahead.
Looks like TikTok is not going away. Hours ago, President Trump signed an executive order paving the way for a deal that will transfer majority ownership of the social media app to Americans. He says China's president has even given his stamp of approval. The investors include Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, tech executive Michael Dell, and media mogul Rupert Murdoch.
Well, September is now Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in the state of Missouri, opening more doors for education, funding, and research.
Yeah, the disease affects hundreds of women in the St. Louis area every year. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barcheski sits down with a survivor and doctor behind the movement to educate. Laura?
Mike and Kelly, around 80% of ovarian cancer cases are diagnosed in advanced stages, making this designation for September a huge milestone for those fighting it.
So I was originally diagnosed in summer of 2016. Up to that point, I'd had 57 years of perfect health, no issues at all. But I started to experience some postmenopausal spotting, very light, but enough, like there's no good reason for that, really.
Joan Gummels consulted with her doctor for months, ruling out other cancers and illnesses before an ultrasound revealed a growth on one of her ovaries.
I chose to see a specialist, a gynecologic oncologist, and I really think that has made a huge difference in my story. I had a complete hysterectomy during which they did a biopsy of the tumor and confirmed that it was ovarian cancer.
After surgery, she went through chemotherapy and went into remission for 4 years until she got the worst news. The cancer came back.
So since that time, I've really been in chemotherapy part of every year.
That's when she decided to get involved with St. Louis Ovarian Cancer Awareness, also known as SLOCA.
I just began to get involved actually in the Survivors Teaching Students program, where survivors will go and we will speak to classes of future medical professionals, make them aware of how we were diagnosed and what our treatments have been like.
She's now the president of the SLOCA board that advocated at the state capitol to make September Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month in Missouri.
One of the reasons we really wanted to get a state law passed was to have a platform to get beyond the city borders, the county borders. In the metropolitan area, there are many people who travel to get treatment who live in rural areas.
That treatment and diagnosis requires a specialist like Dr. Shannon Graybosch. She's a gynecological oncologist at St. Louis University Hospital.
So, for example, for breast cancer, we have mammograms. For cervical cancer, we have pap smears. There is not a screening test for ovarian cancer.
Making it even more important to know the signs.
When you're eating, if you feel full earlier than you did, or if you have a change in your bowel or bladder function, sometimes spotting clotting after menopause or postmenopausal bleeding can be a warning sign. Feeling bloated or just generally more uncomfortable in your abdomen or persistent pelvic pain. And the tricky thing is I think all of us feel those symptoms, right?
Dr. Graybosch says there are some preventative measures you can take, especially if your family has a history of cancer.
A patient could potentially get genetic testing, identify that they have a mutation, and undergo a risk-reducing surgery before that cancer develops, which is life-saving.
Joan says she's glad she listened to her body to have the opportunity to get treatments that keep her going.
I recurred in late 2020 and it's never gone away. So I just live with metastatic ovarian cancer.
And now she wants others to listen. It might save a life.
But when you listen to your friends or family members and you hear something like that, bring it up to them, keep ovarian cancer on the radar screen, and encourage them to get treatment. Because if people do that, it will make a difference to someone.
SLOCA has a few events coming up, including a 5K, and you can learn more about ovarian cancer and how to help raise awareness on KSDK.com.
Donating blood could get you tickets to a new Hollywood movie about one of St. Louis's most inspiring people. John O'Leary, Sony, and Impact Life are partnering together for a blood drive. The first 100 people to donate at an Impact Life donor center will get a gift card to go see Soul on Fire. That movie is about O'Leary's life after he suffered burns on over 90% of his body. Organizers hope his story will inspire people to donate.
Our hope is just that people will see the movie, kind of let this pause and reflect on it a bit, and maybe decide to pay it forward in the form of a blood donation at Impact Life. We're asking people to get on board, to join the mission, and help us start it here in St. Louis.
The first 100 donors must mention the movie or John O'Leary. The blood drive runs until October 9th. The movie comes out the next day.
I look forward to that.
And we've got John O'Leary on, and there you have it, our podcast on 5 Plus next week.
I cannot wait to see that one.
He's very inspiring.
So much, though. All right. Meteorologist Lance Blocker's here with the weather impact forecast, and we have many days ahead of lovely weather. True?
That's right. Yeah, just about. Yeah, and then it's going to turn warm again. It's about 2 days worth of warm weather. Then it turns warm as we get back into, well, of nice weather, then warm. Into the mid-80s we go. All right, tomorrow's highs will be right around 80 degrees. Tomorrow during the morning hours, we're in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Afternoon stays sunny throughout the day tomorrow. Sunny skies for us here on Saturday and Sunday as well. Beautiful weather. Highs in the low 80s on Saturday. We warm back to the mid-80s on Sunday. Again, dew point temperatures in the 50s means that will feel even better than that. I mentioned this earlier about the tropics heating up and how it could impact our region. Here are the two systems right here. There's one significant hurricane here in the central Atlantic. That's going to be a fish storm. Stay out into the Atlantic. This next one may not be. I will say for folks interested along the southeast coast, they could be dealing with that next week. We'll keep an eye on that, but it could have an impact on our weather here too. The reason being is because we've got a ridge of high pressure building into our region by Sunday and Monday. That again means warmer temperatures, but it's anchored in place by low pressure well off to the east down here. It's called an omega block. We have low to the west, low to the east, and then high pressure sitting right in the middle. So technically speaking, even though we see no clouds or no rain from the systems here in the western Atlantic, it will help to keep the high pressure in our region over the days ahead, keeping us warmer through at least the start, maybe even to the middle of next week. It's reflected in our temperatures here as well. Again, we go from the low 80s tomorrow, still low 80s, 83 degrees is still very comfortable for us on Saturday. Mid 80s those Sunday and Monday, and we'll stay around that range heading into Tuesday as well. And unfortunately, it also means we're going to stay dry. This is not what we want to see with the drought in place right now. Zeros across the board, no chance of rain, really not only for the next 5 days, but really through the next 10 days. Unfortunately, high pressure again dominating our weather. That keeps us warmer than average all the way through really the start of the second week of October. High temperatures first week of October are in the mid to upper 70s. We should be in the low 80s as we reach into that time period as well. Here's a little bit more detail over the next 7 days. If you got outdoor activities planned, great weather ahead. I always like to say this too. When we enter into these dry stretches, if you want to get the most value for a car wash, I mean, there's no rain, right? So if you wash your car, that's going to last for a while. So good time to do that.
Look at those temperatures. It just looks
Loving
fantastic.
it.
All right, Lance, thanks. Corey is in with sports.
Well, the Cardinals could be ready to move a couple of veterans this offseason. The Ryder Cup is ready to ignite. The one high school football team is off to a historic start. Sports is up after the break. Whether you were impressed with the Cardinals' fight down the stretch to make things interesting or just wrote it off as a quirk of baseball's expanded playoff system, you can relax now. The Cardinals are officially eliminated. Now it's Heim time in St. Louis, and there could be a couple of veterans now willing to talk about a trade this offseason. In the locker room after last night's game, starter Sonny Gray told reporters he was now open to considering waiving his no-trade clause to go somewhere else. The 36-year-old had a solid season, going 14-8 with a 4.28 ERA and over 200 strikeouts. We know the Cardinals tried to trade Nolan Arenado last year. Looks like it has to happen now. Arenado told The Athletic's Katie Wu he's more open to expanding his list of teams he'd accept a trade to. The Chaim Bloom era will have a number of questions to answer right off the bat. Before we turn the page to the Bloom era, though, John Mozeliak stops by Sports Plus to chat with Frank Cusimano. A Mizzou duo of Dennis Gates and Ahmad Hardy will also be featured that Sunday night on Sports Plus. Training camp rolls along for the St. Louis Blues. Enterprise Center gets to host its first game of the year on Saturday when the Blackhawks come to town for preseason action. It's hard to escape the buzz for Jim Montgomery's team this season, and now that he gets a full year with this squad, the hype has only grown. Oh yeah, apologies for the mysterious photo bomber in this next soundbite with Blues broadcaster Chris Kerber.
You know, one way to look at it might be that he had a full training camp from Thanksgiving last year through the playoffs. And the one thing that you're already seeing is that core group of people already knew what to expect. And so when you watch practice on day one of training camp, you're actually seeing what was already there, you know, in the morning skate before Game 7 in Winnipeg. And so that progress has already started.
Louis loves the camera. It is the eve of the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black in New York, and all eyes are on this man. Scotty Scheffler is the dominant world number one. Scheffler won 6 times on the tour this season and has won 15 times around the world in the past 2 years, but came up short in his last Ryder Cup action for Team USA. Scotty's locked in this time.
There's nothing better than this type of competition where you're out there with your partner, you're playing for your country, you're playing for your team, and these are the weeks that when you look back on your career, these are the weeks so far that I remember the most. I have some of my best memories of my whole life playing these tournaments, and like I said, I'm just excited for Friday to get started.
We have another loaded slate of games lined up for 5 on your sideline tomorrow night. This week I visited with perhaps the most interesting undefeated team in the area. Out in Wentzville, the 4-0 North Point Grizzlies have come a long way. This is just their 5th season as a program. In their first full season, the Grizzlies only won 2 games. Now they have weapons all over the field and a school that has bought into their winning ways. It was a long road to get here, but the Grizzlies have no intention of going away.
It's been crazy. You know, we talked with all those guys like they would never see their true legacy until they came back because it was just such a unique experience opening up a new school.
It's monumental. It's pretty crazy. I mean, from going from like 2-7 season to starting off 4-0 my senior year, it's amazing.
Keep playing as a team. Yeah. If we keep playing as a team, we'll win every game. I got confidence.
Let's check out a high school game tonight over at Parkway North. The Vikings hosted Hazelwood East in what turned into a crazy game. Got a couple of nice Parkway North tackles to start things. Demetrius Williams was all over the field tonight. Now the East defense. Thomas Traylor gets the pick, and he doesn't have to go too far to take it to the house. 6-0 Hazelwood East. More Spartans defense here. Snap is going to be fumbled on the punt. The ball's going to bounce all over the place. That is until it ends up in Lawan Palmer's hands in the end zone. However, Parkway North was down 18-0 when I left this game. They came all the way back for a 31-30 victory in overtime. What a win for the Vikings. There's no worse feeling as a sportscaster when you get back to the station and realize you have no highlights of the team that won the game. That's how it goes sometimes.
It happens sometimes. All right, Corey, thanks.
A cold-hearted closure. The reason you can only slither down an Illinois road by foot right now.
This is News Channel 5 at 10. News Channel 5, St. Louis's first and only news in high definition.
Yeah, it's Throwback Thursday on the 5+ streaming app. Tonight, we're taking you back to February 2006 for our first newscast in HD, when HD was a big deal. I was there along with Karen Foss, Cindy Pressler, and Rennie Knott. You can watch for free on your Roku, Apple, Fire, Samsung, or LGTV.
Does it seem like it was that long ago?
No, to me it was 5 minutes ago. And I was sitting right at this, it was a
Right
different
here?
set, but right here in the
Right.
same chair. If you have a fear of snakes, you might want to avoid going on a hike along one southern Illinois road.
The U.S. Forest Service has closed roughly 3 miles of Forest Road 345 and the Shawnee National Forest. It's more widely known as Snake Road. Every fall, nearly 35 species of snakes cross the gravel as they migrate towards the limestone caves to hibernate for the winter. Car traffic is closed until Halloween, but you can still get there by foot. But beware, some of the snakes are venomous, as one Forest Park Service official told us in 2022.
The number one snake that you're going to see here is going to be the northern cottonmouth. The other two venomous snakes are copperhead and timber rattlesnake. And you have a good chance of seeing those.
You don't have to tell me twice. Park officials say the area is safe as long as you stick to the road. They say the best time to see the snakes is in October.
We know what Kelly is doing this weekend. she's going out to that road to see
Hiking
the
down
snakes.
that road.
It's going to be a nice weekend.
It will for any outdoor activities, minus that one, because why would you do that? All right, so temperatures will warm into the mid-80s on Sunday and Monday, then we'll cool off maybe sometime in fall.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with
in
James.
HD.